Ripple's president confirmed that one of the largest banks out there, aka Bank of America, is going all in on XRP. We have to talk about this because number one, it's extremely bullish. Number two, it really does provide us with that clarity around Bank of America using XRP or even being tapped in around the Ripple ecosystem in a big way. But let's actually first start off with TradFi really just being a part of crypto already. Like, for example, JP Morgan with Connexus. Next generation financial infrastructure, tokenized investments, faster cross-border payments, introducing Connexus, blockchain infrastructure by JP Morgan that reimagines the transfer of money, assets, and financial information. What's interesting about this is that this was Onyx, so this is private based. All right. JP Morgan, I don't care if it's JP Morgan, doesn't matter about the name. This is a private based initiative around blockchain. Anything that's a private chain is not going to even come close to public chain, which is why all of these, private chains that are floating around, they're all dead. They're all dead in the water. They're not going to see even close to the flows that public blockchains get. And anyone tapping into the blockchain initiatives, when it's private, they will easily see a night and day difference if they tapped into public, which I think is going to be the wave going forward. But outside of this, it just shows us that JP Morgan is already here. Same with we could even say the same with State Street, for an example. Back on the 17th of February, State Street set to launch crypto custody in 2026. Citi also leaned in. We know that Citi has been around for quite some time, right? Citi was a very big player even back in 2021. But we have here from Citi Digital Assets, Citi continues to develop digital asset solutions in line with its goals, governance, and risk appetite, using a unified set of shared technology capabilities and common strategic approach. I wonder what that shared technology actually is, because, I just question if Citi is still tied to Medico, aka, Ripple Custody, because they were a partner of Medico prior to Ripple acquiring them. But we do know that they're fully focused on tokenization. They're focused on digital custody. They're focused on digital settlement. They are highlighting DLT. They're highlighting blockchain. So Citi is definitely aware. Outside of that, we also have BNY Mellon. April 3rd of this year, BNY Mellon expands digital asset platform with launch of innovative on-chain offering. Now, listen, these are just a few of the big announcements, okay? We saw SAB 121 rescinded. We saw the OCC enabling big banks. We saw the FDIC enabling big banks. The big banks are here. They are ready, and they're ready to scale. So now that they're starting to see the market really open up for them, what do you think happens next? They are going to scale. And what's funny about this is even during this entire year, we've been hearing from Bank of America on specific things that they are ready to do. Like, for example, launching a stablecoin, which we heard back in February. On top of that, going all the way back to January, their CEO did say that financial industry will jump into crypto payments if regulators allow it, which we highlighted on this channel because it definitely pertained right back to XRP, because we know the connections back to Bank of America. But even over here, we have, and this is more so Bank of America on regulation and Wall Street. So such dealings would have to be non-anonymized and verified for the banking industry to get on board. If rules to that effect were introduced, the industry would have no choice but to adopt the new currency stream. We have to, because it's just another way our customers are going to want to move money. Another concern for the finance industry is the threat cryptocurrencies could potentially pose to the US dollar. We know that it actually supports the US dollar. A tool crucial in shoring up the economy. Indeed, maintaining the dollar as the world's reserve asset is imperative, according to Trump's pick for Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. The CEO of Bank of America did say a strong dollar is good for our economy, but clarified that a wider adoption of crypto on the consumer payment side doesn't directly correlate to what happens on the investment side. If you go down the street here and you go in and buy lunch, if you can pay with Visa or MasterCard or even a debit card, Apple Pay, this would just be another form of payment in an instantaneous cash transfer. When you get to the investment side and the Bitcoin stuff, that's really a separate question. So again, I don't think that a lot of these TradFi guys understand the tech still, just from the way that they do speak. In my opinion, the payments around DLT and blockchain definitely affect the underlying network and even the underlying token as well. And if we do just get to the point where crypto is utilized for payments at scale, I'm totally fine with that, because there's massive amounts of money out there to be made just through those initiatives alone. Now, on top of this, we also know that the OCC, like I said, back in March, did clarify rules on bank activities around crypto, followed by this one as well on May 7th, which was the OCC clarifies bank authority to engage in crypto asset custody and execution services. So we continued to see moves being made even around the OCC. And then, of course, we did get the FDIC says banks no longer need permission for crypto. And of course, the Fed also withdrew its guidance on bank crypto related activities. This was over just like the last 3 or 4 months. When we think about what's happening here, the market is open for business for institutional players. Now, I want to go over here because this is from Digital Asset Investor. It's going to happen really fast now. Invokes Bank of America CEO and then describes what Ripple has been working on for a decade. And this is Chris Giancarlo. This is on the ballot, a Ballotpedia podcast. Check this out.
So it's going to happen really fast now. It's happening really fast. So one of the things that the Biden administration hostility to crypto did is it gave cover to every CEO of traditional finance, our traditional banks and financial systems. It gave them cover to not have a crypto strategy. What's happened is that cover has been ripped off. I would say that any CEO of a traditional financial firm that doesn't have a serious crypto strategy has got serious reputation risk and better be looking over their shoulder at the junior members of the executive team that are going to push them out of the way. This is the year that we're seeing traditional finance move in a very big way. So the head of Bank of America, Brian Moynihan, recently said that once this stablecoin legislation passes, they are going to introduce a stablecoin. You know, one of the ways banks make money, aside from lending, is that they move money around the globe. It's called correspondent banking. The way that banks move the trillions of dollars that are moving every year around the globe is they move it from one bank to the other through what's called the correspondent banking system. Well, that's going to be completely displaced by stablecoins. In the same way that, I'll use another analogy, you know, once upon a time, photography, you traveled around the world, you'd see these Kodak shops on every street corner because you'd go get your film and you get your film developed and you'd take it from one place to the other. Correspondent banking is like those camera stock shops. And once digital photography came around, you took the picture and you send it back home to grandma the same minute that you were taking that photograph, you know, at the Louvre in Paris. And so stablecoins are it's going to challenge the bank's role in moving money around the globe dramatically. And so traditional finance has suddenly realized that Washington is no longer a barrier to innovation. They're now encouraging it, and the banks are now moving in a very, very big way. And so there's all those new entrants that have come up in the last 10 years are suddenly going to find they've got major competition from some of the biggest Wall Street banks.
And yeah, I mean, listen, the competition is starting to rise greatly. And, you know, just like Chris is saying, yeah, I mean, before you've had these big things, you know, camera shops, from camera shops, you had, you know, we've seen tech advance over the years. We know these examples. We know that, you know, if they don't adapt, they will die. So we immediately look at the big banks because they're not adapting right now, even though Bank of America says that they are ready to embrace it. They're ready to jump in on crypto payments if regulators allow it, because they are aware of what has to happen here. But on top of that, we go over here, that boom, breaking. Monica Long reveals Bank of America CEO says we're all in on XRP. Now, she doesn't say XRP, but she is saying that the floodgates are about to burst. And, you know, this is a little bit of an older clip, but it still confirms that, yeah, we are watching as the floodgates are opening. Check it out.
It feels like the floodgates are going to open this year, doesn't it? I mean, so within the past week, a couple weeks. So SOB 121 being called back or rolled back. And I mean, within, it felt like minutes, you hear from CEOs like Bank of America saying, we're all in. And, these are institutions that I mean, Bank of America was one of our early partners when we were doing kind of like the messaging software only payment solution. So we've worked with these types of banks for a long time, and the lack of clarity, and I mean, I think in the more recent time, even hostility toward, hey, like, using these assets and this technology is not okay, it's dangerous, which is not the best way to handle it, as we would say. But looking forward, I would say, yes, it seems like there's going to be a sea change this year. And even I could say post November, the election, the US election result, even just the ongoing conversations we've had with banks around being reserve bank or transaction banking partners for the stablecoin or for our payments business, like the tone and message changed overnight. Like it was quick.
And yeah, this is something that I've been fully focused on simply because we know that Bank of America has been a long-term Ripple partner, as you guys can see here on the screen. But on top of that, we also know that Bank of America was suspected to be using XRP for 100% internal transactions. I mean, this is just one of many banks, right? We bring Bank of America up because Bank of America is a massive name. We get that, right? We understand it. It's a huge name. But this is one of hundreds of institutional players that are tied back to Ripple that could very well be, using XRP very soon. The internal transaction thing, that was really a big, I would say, it's not a big nothing because we don't have a source to confirm it or deny it. It just came from, David Stryzewski, which was floating around back in like the beginning of January. Everyone was talking about it because he said that Bank of America had been utilizing it for 100% of their internal transactions for approximately, 2 years, and they were shut down. I personally think that Ripple is being looked at by the United States as a SWIFT system alternative. Now, this is exactly what David said. Now, can we confirm all of this? We really can't, but we also can't deny it either because we don't have proof to deny it as well. We just know for a fact that Bank of America has been a long-term customer of Ripple's. They've been partnered up. Bank of America did say that they will use XRP powered on-demand liquidity once the lawsuit is fully finished. So when we think about what's really going on here, these banks could very well be secretly tapping in and preparing to go all in on XRP and utilize it at scale once we see regulations fully out there, just like we saw back in January, announced from, of course, the Bank of America CEO. So when we really look at what's going on here, things are definitely changing. And I think that we need to pay attention to the institutional side of Ripple and XRP because it will definitely affect XRP in a huge way. But with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because I'm more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, Nick, thanks for watching. Peace out.